welcome back to Healing from Eating Disorders. In this episode, I would like to speak about identifying your true core minus your baggage. What do I mean by that? So, babies are not born with an eating disorder. What happens is we're a product of our environment. So from the moment that we're born, even before that, probably throughout the pregnancy as well, and well before our brain is fully developed, we are a chemical and an emotional tissue. And almost like a sponge, we then learn about how to survive in the world and in our environment through absorbing feelings and sensations. So the way we are naturally born, the way we come out of the womb, if you will, is our core self, our uninterrupted, uninfluenced. And then what happens is whatever we absorb from our environment and whatever messages we learn and we take with us along the way through the years will have an immense effect on our personality traits that will show out. So our main goal as a living organism is to survive, period. So if we grow up in an environment where there's no immediate threat to our survival and we're not constantly judged for who we are and how we behave and made feel that we're not good enough, though, there's a higher chance that more of our core self will show itself. But then considering that when we're a tiny baby, almost every little thing that happens around us can make us feel like it's posing a threat to our survival. Just like, tiny little kittens that don't have the tools to protect themselves. So they get really scared. For instance, if there's constant fighting around us, if there's any type of conflict, if there's suffering, neglect, hurt, pain, whatever it is, for however long we may witness it, especially if it's on a regular basis, what happens is us as an organism will adapt and find new ways in which it thinks it's the best way for them to survive in the environment. What that means is that on top of our core personality, we will begin to layer different traits, behaviors and patterns. Some of them may be like an extreme projection of our own traits, but some of them may be behaviors that we see other people doing around us, and they're not really ours. We kind of copy them from other people because it's good for survival, or that's what we come to a conclusion that it is. So a lot of times we'll be carrying those patterns of behavior through the years. And so when we're trying to overcome any type of addiction, mental illness, part of the healing process is acknowledging that we're no longer in any immediate threat, to our survival, because obviously we're now adults, and in a different environment, and we can take care of ourselves. And so we begin to shed those patterns of behavior that are not really in our core self, but that we may have adopted along the way, and normally from our immediate family. How do we do that? So I wanted to give you a helpful exercise that you can do by yourself at home or with a friend. And you take a piece of paper, you draw a line in the middle. So you create two columns, and then you start listing down your traits or characteristics, divided into positive and negative, in your eyes. You can take your time doing that. And then after you got the list down, you simply go over the columns, you go one by one, and you put a check next to the qualities that you feel strongly are a genuine part of your soul and your being. But then you mark an X next to the qualities that you feel are not an accurate representation of the person you are on the inside. Best way to do it is to try and be as honest as you can with yourself. For example, if you wrote lazy and you feel like, you're the kind of person that's really super relaxed, and a lot of things don't bother you and you don't like to take things too seriously, that's great. But maybe you sometimes feel like it's not really you. Maybe you think it's something you picked up from watching other people around you. Or if you put down, in positive, you put down a perfectionist. Maybe you want to rethink what percentage of that is really your personality that aspires to perfection, and what percentage of that may be because, of expectations that were put on you. So in order to survive, you became a perfectionist, and that kind of became a way of life for you, but it's not your core self. From experience doing this exercise with different people, I really like it because although it's quite a simple one, I find it to be really eye-opening, and it's really showing us a different perspective on who we really are, and also giving us insight and clarity into who we would like to be and what changes we should be making moving forward to help ourselves in our healing process. And it also teaches us forgiveness, because when you see it laid out in front of you and suddenly you realize, some of these behaviors that I'm really hard on myself for, I don't feel like it's mine. Maybe it was a survival mechanism, something I picked up along the way. And so it's easier for us to shed it and discover more of the core of who we are. And you can do that without feeling that defines you, and adopt more healthier behavior patterns without being too hard on yourself. So I wish you good luck with the exercise. If you choose to try it out, definitely let me know how it went. As usual, you can ask your questions or leave comments below, and I look forward to reading it and seeing you on the next episode.